Welcome back to World Energy Television, and we're continuing our discussion with Jim Watt. Well, we've talked about this being remote, but this is Alaska. It is a state in the United States, definitely not in the lower 48, but does it have the infrastructure needed to pull this off?
The Cook Inlet, through the 60s, when most of the drilling was taking place in development, had all the infrastructure laid. So we have the pipelines, we have a refinery, we have an LNG train, we have the local gas market, all that's available. So none of which is oversupplied. In fact of the matter, the state of Alaska has special incentives to bring drilling into the Cook Inlet, in particular for gas, because they're gas short and will be through 2014 or beyond, where it's very critical. And then on the oil side, production at one time was nearly 200,000 barrels a day, and now it's less than 15,000. So there's a lot of excess capacity in terms of pipelines and facilities that we could tie into, and that really lowers our cost of development.
So as the majors have pulled back, have they left a lot of opportunities behind?
That's our growth plan. We have, through our years of experience in terms of working the Cook Inlet and our understanding of the basin, we have high-graded at least 6 to 10 opportunities onshore and offshore that we want to pursue and capture over the next 2 to 3 years.
How would you frame up the costs associated with operating in Alaska?
Well, I mentioned that there is a remoteness element to the basin, and that has a general impact on the costs. However, a lot of the opportunities that we're looking at are as shallow as 7,000 to 8,000 feet. So when you look at an onshore well that we're looking at drilling, we're looking at $5 to $6 million. Now, grant you could drill that well for a lot less cost in the lower 48, but nonetheless, the potential, the exposure we get on that well is a lot higher in Alaska. And when that is coupled with the ACES program, where the state actually gives us cash back, it's very attractive in terms of a cost structure for the Cook Inlet.
So with the ACES program, if we're looking at a $5 million well, now it's a $2.5 million well.
Well, if you're looking at, let's say, $10 million for the facilities and tie-in, all in, you're looking at $7.5 million thereabout. And that's more on the capital side in terms of the cost. On the operating cost side, with the current technology and the understanding of logistics, that cost structure is a lot lower. And when you hear about high operating costs in Alaska, in the Cook Inlet, it's often associated with very mature fields that have high water cuts, they're handling a lot of volume of water, and those are high operating cost fields no matter where you are, in the lower 48 or elsewhere in the world.
So if we're going to start up in the Kenai Peninsula, can you frame up for me what step number one to production would be?
What we're looking at doing there is moving one of the stack rigs that's available to location and drill. That probably take 30 to 40 days. And after completing that well, then we'd tie in possibly to existing facilities because there's capacity available in existing facilities. So that really lowers the cost of development and is very attractive for us in terms of total cost outlay. We'll at least get 45% back of our total outlay of the development. That's the well, the pipeline for the tie-in, and any costs that we have to do on our side in terms of facilities.
So this really does change the economics.
Alaska, the state of Alaska is looking to bring new players into the state, and in particular in the Cook Inlet. They're gas short, they need activity, and they're doing what they can to encourage players to come in, and we're here with the list of opportunities to pursue and ready to capture the value.
Do you think that because Buccaneer is in early, that you're going to have access to better opportunities?
That's right. I think that goes back to what Curtis is saying about being aggressive conservative, in that we're very conservative in terms of most of our opportunities have well control, seismic, near production, but we're aggressive in the sense that we're going to capture all these conservative opportunities here in the near term.
Jim, this has been really interesting. And thank you very much for watching.